Hey everyone, welcome to Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Now in this video, I'm going to discuss the new trailer for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, as it will be released in just a matter of days now. So what can we expect from this film? And who is making a return to the franchise? It's time to find out. Let's go. So the new full-length trailer for the upcoming Netflix release of a brand new Texas Chainsaw Massacre has been released. Now it's a 2-minute and 30-second trailer filled with some intense scenes that preview the return to Texas. But before I break down the trailer, I want to share some exciting news about this new sequel in the franchise. Now the character of Sally Hardesty is coming back to the franchise to battle and take on Leatherface himself once again. Now, the last time we saw Sally as the focal character in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie was in the original, the very first one way back in 1974. Now, Sally was the only survivor in the original film, and she's had 47 years to plan her revenge on Leatherface for killing her friends. Now, the original actress was Marilyn Burns, who sadly passed away in 2014. So the role will now be played by Owen Fiore, and I, for one, am excited that they are bringing this character back in a large role in this movie. And I am not the only one. The Sci-Fi website just posted an article about the new movie and the return of Sally as the character. And the headline reads, Sally Hardesty returns to battle Leatherface in intense new Texas Chainsaw Massacre trailer. It's time for the original's lone survivor to battle her masked monster once again. Now in the article, we read, we've known for a while now that Sally, the lone survivor of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre film from 1974, would return for director David Blue Garcia's new legacy sequel titled simply Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that actress Owen Fiore would inhabit the role. Now, a new trailer has arrived ahead of the film's Netflix release next month. In this case, it's literally this month. And it places Sally front and center in the battle against the legendary Texas madman known as Leatherface. So that leads us to the new trailer that Netflix just released. And in this trailer, we see a group of people who look to be in their early to mid-20s, somewhere in that area, arriving in Harlow, Texas, which is now basically an abandoned ghost town. And they're saying how they want to revitalize the town and it just needs new life to bring it all back. And of course, there's one smart character who's saying, I don't want to live here. Okay. And that's like, okay, smart choice. Like, that's the guy. If there's going to be a survivor, it's going to be that person. They're the smart one. But anyway, so they come up on the house eventually where Leatherface lives. And as you can imagine, carnage and death ensues for some of these new characters. Now, next up, we see what is my most favorite aspect of this new film, which I've already mentioned earlier, which is the return of the character Sally. She gets the call that Leatherface is back to his old killing ways, and what I love about this version of Sally is that she's much like we saw with Sidney Prescott in Scream 5. Sally is back as the hunter and not the hunted as she was last time. And here we see her loading up her bag of tools to fight Leatherface with a pump shotgun on top, which is perfect, the perfect thing to have. Absolutely love that. Now this scene just gets me really excited again to see her come back and for what I hope is going to be eventually an epic showdown between her and Leatherface. That's what I'm hoping for. Now, he is looking really messed up in this movie, and here we see him with this grotesque face as he's about to grip it and rip it with his chainsaw. Now, before you get too disappointed to not see Leatherface in his iconic mask, let me just show you this shot that we see right here in the trailer, letting us know that he still has it and that the time has come to once again put it on. It has come. Now, while Sally does not have a face mask made of skin or anything else for that matter, and doesn't have a chainsaw, she has a cowboy hat. And as I mentioned earlier, she has that shotgun right there. And think of it like this, just as you never would take a knife to a gunfight, you should never take a chainsaw to a gunfight either. And I like the odds for Sally in this one, as long as she does not run out of shells. That's my only concern. As long as she brought enough shells to load up, she should be okay. But the trailer ends now with some really cool shots of Leatherface. Here we see him at the top of the staircase in his house holding a sledgehammer just before he throws it down the stairs towards his next victim. And the trailer does not reveal if it connected, but I would say the odds are pretty good that it did. Then we see him enter the bus that we saw way back at the beginning of the trailer. And I love seeing him here with everything in place, full-blown Leatherface mode. He's got the mask on, the butcher's apron, and of course, his fully operational chainsaw. So we then have the intention here of seeing these people that really are planning to leave town. They want to get out of here, but I guarantee you he has no intention of that happening. It's just not going to happen, at least for most of them, I would imagine. So as the group raises their cell phones to record and live stream what is happening, because that's what you do in 2022, and we hear this hilarious line by one of the characters there in the front that says, "Try anything and you're canceled, bro." And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is exactly what you would hear in 2022 in this scenario. So that was perfect. But it did not take him very long to realize that live streaming Leatherface is not going to faze him one bit. And then we get this brutal scene here of just what Leatherface thinks about this whole thing. We see this poor guy held up to the ceiling with a ceiling of the bus, or the roof of the bus, however you want to say it, with a chainsaw through his stomach and out his back. Just brutal kill. And then we see a lot of super quick flashes of the killing that comes next. And we see in this shot, everyone's trying to, rush to the back of the bus, trying to get out of there while being sprayed and bathed in the blood of their friends in what looks to be a moment of absolute chaos and insanity. This may end up being actually the best scene in the movie. Sometimes you see trailers and you see a scene and you come to find out when you watch the movie that was the best scene in the movie. This actually might be the best scene in the movie. I hope not, but we'll see. And then we get this last image of Leatherface here through the side window of the bus, and it looks like to be someone's entrails hanging outside the window there. So very gnarly, very cool shot. And after seeing the trailer a couple of times, I do have to say, I'm at least hopeful that this incarnation of the franchise will actually be a good one. And again, I love the Sally aspect of the story. I think that has the potential to bring a very cool and interesting element to the movie, instead of just, Leatherface killing another batch of newcomers. So I like this extra element they're adding in. And who knows, it might be the one thing that saves the movie. It's possible. But again, the one thing about all of this is, how are they going to handle Sally from a writing perspective? I mean, will she defeat Leatherface? Will she die in the process and they both die? Or will he kill Sally and ultimately survive himself and stand tall at the end in anticipation of the next sequel? I mean, I don't know. When you bring back a character like this for an ultimate showdown, and this is very, very reminiscent here of Laurie Strode and Michael with Halloween Ends coming up later in the year. In this scenario, when you press play that one of these things are going to happen. One of these scenarios will happen, and I'm fine with that. I really am. I'm fine with that. I just hope it's well written and the cast members really execute it well. That's what I'm asking for, and that's all I ask for in this movie. If it can do that, great. So my final word on this trailer and this movie is it looks intriguing. And look, I will always watch a new slasher movie. That is my favorite subgenre of horror, so I always look with eager anticipation for a new slasher. And I'm going into this new Texas Chainsaw Massacre on February 18th with medium expectations, okay? I'm not expecting a ton from the movie. I just hope that it's done well, there are some great kills, and that Sally absolutely destroys Leatherface. That's what I really want to see. But anything more than that, I will be thrilled. And honestly, anything less than that, let's just say I will not be surprised if it comes in under my expectations. And my expectations are already just medium. So it may really end up being a low expectation movie or a low outcome for me when I actually see the thing. But we'll see. At this point, I'm going to stay cautiously optimistic. All right, everyone. I want to know what you think about the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre coming out on February 18th. I want to hear your opinions, thoughts, ideas, and theories about the movie. What do you think about Sally coming back? Is that something that you're looking forward to seeing? And if so, how do you want this to end for Sally? I'd love to hear what you have to say about it so we can start chatting in the comments below. Well, that's it for this update, but I'll be back soon with more Texas Chainsaw Massacre and other horror movie content. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, this is Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Thank you for watching.